How you doing, everybody? So, as I look back and I saw the little bushcraft kit was doing good. It had a lot of views, so I figured we continue with it. This is the second part of it. I'm still on the tools theme, and we'll move to some other stuff, but it's kind of like repetitive in a way because you always want to have more than one of something. So these are just backups. It's not going to be as big and as extravagant as the first knife, of course. It's going to be smaller knives and a tool. I think you should always have a tool with you because you never know when you would need a multi tool. And like with the knife, I have a Schrade Tough. I have a SOG for the folding knife, and for the secondary, I do have a little Ozark trail. Most of the time, you're not going to need it, so it's now cause to get something outrageous. I did sand this and play with it a little bit so it'd be a little more smoother and nicer. But before we get into all that, again, thank you guys so much for the subscriptions. I really mean it. It really helps, and it's really building the channel up. And I thank you guys so much. And this too. But thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate everything you guys been doing. And like I said, I want to continue on this bushcraft series. Since it's doing good, we'll keep going with it. So we have the main knife. There's a little Ozark Trails. It's cheap. It's like four something. So if you have it on your side and you lose it, and you're just focusing on your main knife, or if you happen to dull break or lose your main knife, it's a smaller knife. And also, when doing something like a feather and stick or something, it's much easier to do it with a smaller knife like this. And I also like the kind of old school rugged look of this with the wood and the metal. It is full tang, as you could see right there. And you got wooden handles. I did sand these down so to be a little more comfortable. I put a little more rounding to the edges. I made it more flush with the metal here and over here because this wasn't, as you can see, the little scrapes right there as I was sanding it. It wasn't meeting up. There was a little bit of a kind of a distinction. You can still feel it a drop, but is not as prevalent as it is or it was. So there you have it. It's a nice little knife. It's not going to do a lot. It's going to need sharpening. It's not going to stay totally sharp, but it's still a good knife. Now, I would also have, this would be on your side, of course. We'll have a little pouch for the bushcraft stuff as we get more and more into this. We'll do a couple of series, then we'll do the whole kit, and we'll show everybody the whole kit all together and put together. So, the other knife I have here, SOG, is actually a knife I modified. You saw it on the channel. I actually put a clip on it. I wanted a clip and I want it so I could grab it out of my pocket on my right side and just be able to flip it out. This knife I chose one because it's a more stout, more bigger knife. The pocket clip does not do anything to the ergonomics because you have this little groove right here. You can put your fingers in it. You can put your finger over here and you're good to go. It's perfect. It fits. It's plastic scales. It's not a full tang, but if your two knives happen to go, you have this. You have a nice belly to it. It does need a little bit of sharpening. It's not that sharp right now. I got to sharpen it up a little. And then, of course, if you need to process some firewood or something, you do have the little soaring edge on it right there. It's a double, two different edges on the blades. This is a good blade. It's solid. It's good. It's not super heavy, but it's stout. It's big. So it's better to handle and feel. It does have a lot of good ergonomics because you have this curve right here that your hand fits into. You got the little curve where your fingers go. You got the curve over here and over here. So it is quite good for processing and doing small cutting projects as you're out there, feather sticks and stuff like that. If you don't want to take out that one, this of course will stay sharper. So as you can see right there, there's a little SOG logo. There it is. It is a spine little lock. So there, and it does have a little case in case you don't want to use the little clip. But like I said, I added the clip. You're not going to buy it like that. I added the clip because sometimes I would have a pouch only for like going out and doing bushcraft stuff. I wouldn't have a pouch for like walking around every day. I kind of put my knives in my pocket. I don't want to put them in a pouch. It's not for me. Anyway, I know a lot of people wouldn't do it. I would, because you can have this stuff on your, well, this you don't have to have on your side. You can have this on your side. You can have that tucked away in the pouch. You can have this and this on your side, and the other Schrade knife that we had last week. So I think you should always have a tool like this, because the pliers can come in handy. You can process and cut stuff like little twigs or twine to put stuff through. The pliers can help you to pull stuff and put stuff in. It's more something if you're working on, like, say, you're putting together furniture or something, or your chair or screw came out, or something like that. It's more like that. But if you're out and about and you're trying to get a faucet or something, you see something like that, you're good to go. Someone left propane tank, you got something to grab it with. Plus, this has other tools, and all of the tools, as you can see, are accessible from the outside. So you could have this completely folded, and it's not too wide. I know a lot of people love the Leathermans. They're good. I just like, well, I got this for a great price. Let's be real about it. It was a great price. It was like $12. It was on sale. But I like the way it feels over here. The only gripe I have with this, if they put a spring, I wish they would have put a spring. I like spring-loaded pliers or multi-tools. So this is really good. I like the way it does. And you have your kind of, not completely needle nose, but more pointy. And you got your bigger section over there. So like I said, you can access the tools from the outside. And there's a little trick to the tools too, because I saw someone else did a review and they said, it's so hard to get these pieces back in. And it's really not. As you can see, I was using it for stuff. But this one doesn't lock, but that is the double-sided file with the little piece to get the little hooks out of the fish when you're fishing. You have a blade that's kind of similar to the SOG. This does lock. Now, this is the little locking mechanism. I saw somebody saying it's too hard and they banged it. You don't have to. See the pool that is sticking out? You press that down and that unlocks it. So if you have this, that's how you do it. So you have your double blades there. You have a nice little hook like, so you can work on something littler, smaller, more increment things. You got your little Phillips. Not a very stout Phillips, but it'll do the job in a pinch. It's, how many Phillips things are you going to be pulling out there? And of course, you got your can opener, which will come in handy, especially if you have food with you. And then over on this side, of course, you have a couple of tools over here. A couple of them are really good for outdoor stuff. But you have your measuring tape here. That not really. You have another little piece to get stuff out there. Over here, you have this nice long kind of straight blade that you can do some shaving. If you're shaving something down, like you're making a feather stick, you're making a tool to use while you're out there, you just use that to kind of scrape it away. And is this the tool? One of the tools I think locks in place. Oh, I forgot to do this one. And then of course you have your saw. That's the one that locks in place. This is locked right now, so it's not going to move. So there's your saw right there. There's a stagnant teeth on the saw. It does a pretty decent job of processing stuff, but you're going to have something else with you. I'll get into that later when we get more into the kit. But over here, that is the one that's sticking out. You press that in, and that will release that. And then you have over here these two little tools over here, if I can get them out. That's the only problem I have with this. It's so hard to get one tool out without taking them all out and putting them back. You have your wire stripper here. You have your big flathead and your small flathead. But like I said, every tool on this is accessible from the outside, so it's really nice. It's not too heavy, and it's solid, so it's a really good tool. So those are the other backups I would have. I would have a smaller knife like that. I would have a folding knife that could hold as the third backup, and plus it has the teeth on it, so it's good for processing firewood and stuff like that. And of course, I would have a multi-tool. I know some of it is not prevalent to bushcraft. Pliers with fishing and stuff like that. You're making a snag wire, you can use the pliers for stuff like that. So it does serve its purposes. Not everybody would carry it. I personally would. So there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. And like always, have a great, great day.